As the first light of dawn slowly pierces the soft mist of the Loire Valley, something extraordinary begins to appear. At first, it seems like a reflection. Then the shape grows clearer. White stone arches, slender towers, windows catching the morning sun, floating effortlessly above the river Cher. This is the Château de Chenonceau. It is not a fortress forged for war. It is a palace shaped by love. Often called Le Château des Dames, the latest castle, Chenonceau is unlike any other monument in France. While many castles were built by kings seeking glory or generals preparing for battle, Chenonceau was shaped, defended, transformed, and preserved by women. It is a place of breathtaking beauty, but also of rivalry, of ambition, of sorrow. Listen closely. Can you hear the gentle current of the river flowing beneath its arches? Can you imagine the scent of roses drifting from its gardens in the early morning air? Welcome to a story of romance, power, and quiet revenge. The story begins in the 16th century, during the reign of King Henry II of France. Henry was married to Catherine de Medici, a woman of intelligence,
truly reflects her
wealth,
imperial
and
taste,
formidable
a stark
political
contrast
instinct.
to Diane's.
But Henry's heart did not belong to Catherine. It belonged to Diane de Poitiers. Diane was 20 years older than the
Tapestries
king.
are magnificent.
She had once
today,
served
my
as his
lord.
governess during his youth.
Though I find
Over
the floor
time,
more
that bond
striking
deepened
in this
into
light.
devotion.
Look at the
She was
Duchess in
renowned
that
for her
gown.
elegance, her sharp mind,
They say
and her
she
legendary
borrowed the gold
beauty
from the king's
maintained.
treasury.
It was said, by
Scarlet
daily cold
gold
baths in the river,
shine brightly
Henry
tonight.
adored her openly. And in a
As
gesture
does your
that shocked the
smile,
royal
my
court,
lord.
he gave Chenonceau to Diane as a gift. It was a public humiliation for Catherine. But Diane embraced the castle as her own kingdom. She left her mark upon it with grace and precision. She designed the famous garden that still bears her
Look
name
how the
today,
gold
a masterpiece
shimmers on
of
the
geometric
water.
symmetry.
It is almost as
Boxwood
beautiful
hedges
as
carved
you.
into perfect patterns. Rose beds glowing with color. Fruit trees arranged in disciplined rows. She also built the stone bridge across the river Cher, connecting the castle to the opposite bank. This was not merely aesthetic. It allowed her to hunt in the forests beyond. For years, Diane ruled here as the uncrowned queen of the Loire. The power is never permanent. In 1559, King Henry II suffered a fatal accident during the jousting tournament. A splintered lance pierced his eye. He died days later. And with his death, Diane's protection vanished. Catherine de Medici wasted no time. She did not seek violence. She chose strategy. She demanded that Diane surrender Chenonceau in exchange for another estate. And Diane, stripped of influence, had no choice but to comply. Catherine reclaimed the castle she had long envied, and she began reshaping it in her own image. Where Diane's garden was precise and intimate, Catherine built hers larger, more open, more theatrical. But her most extraordinary transformation rose above the river. On top of the bridge Diane had built, Catherine constructed the Grand Gallery, 60 meters long, spanning the entire width of the river Cher. Let us step inside. The floor is patterned in bold black and white slate. 18 tall windows line each side, flooding the hall with light and offering
A
uninterrupted
magnificent
views of the
display
water
of wealth,
below.
wouldn't you agree, my lady?
It is not merely a hallway. It is a stage. In the 1570s, this gallery became the beating heart of French court life. Under the glow of thousands of beeswax candles, nobles danced across the checkered floor. Music echoed against stone. Fireworks exploded over the river. Catherine hosted lavish festivals here, theatrical spectacles designed to impress allies and intimidate rivals. She gathered around her a group of beautiful noblewomen known as the Flying Squadron. They were not simply companions. They were political instruments, spies who used charm and intelligence to influence powerful men. From her small green study overlooking the river, Catherine governed France as regent for her sons. In this castle, she maneuvered through wars of religion, noble conspiracies, and shifting alliances.
Coat of arms of the Medici family
Chenonceau
on the
became not
ceiling.
only a palace of elegance, but a center of national power. Yet Chenonceau is not only a story of rivalry. It is also a story of grief. Enter Louise de Lorraine. She was the wife of King Henry III, Catherine's son. When Henry III was assassinated in 1589, Louise was shattered. She retreated to Chenonceau, and the atmosphere of the castle changed dramatically. Louise wore white, the traditional color of royal mourning in France, for the rest of her life. She became known as the White Queen. Her bedroom reflects her sorrow. The walls are painted black. The ceiling is decorated with silver tears, widow's cords, and symbols of death. It is a room heavy with silence. A stark contrast to the bright, festive grand gallery. Under Louise, Chenonceau transformed from a palace of celebration into a sanctuary of mourning. The music faded. The laughter ceased. Footsteps softened in the corridors. It became a monastery of memory. Centuries passed. The monarchy fell. Revolutions shook France. Empires rose and collapsed.
Look
Yet
how the light
Chenonceau
catches
endured.
the river.
It is magnificent,
During the
my
First
lord.
World War, the Grand Gallery, once filled with dancers, was converted into a military hospital. Rows of white beds replaced chandeliers. The scent of perfume gave way to antiseptic. The castle became a place of healing. During the Second World War, the River Cher marked the boundary between Nazi-occupied France and the Free Zone. The front entrance of the castle lay in occupied territory, but the far end of the Grand Gallery extended into freedom. The gallery became a secret passage. Resistance fighters and refugees crossed quietly from one side to the other. Once again, Chenonceau became a bridge, not only between riverbanks, but between danger and hope. Today,
My lady,
Chenonceau stands
You grace
serene
the
once more.
halls of Chenonceau.
Each spring,
Your
thousands
words
of
are
flowers
as
are
golden
planted
as
in
the
both
Queen's
Diane's and
chambers,
Catherine's
sir.
gardens, preserving their distinct styles. The kitchens, filled with polished copper pots and vast stone hearths, look as
The
though the
oldest
cooks
part
have
of
just
this
stepped
magnificent
away.
structure is undoubtedly the keep, also known as the Marquis
At
Tower,
sunset, the
dating back
white
to the late
limestone
15th
glows
century.
golden. The reflection shimmers in the river below. The castle does not feel like cold stone. It feels alive. It carries the elegance of Diane, the ambition of Catherine, the sorrow of Louise. They remain here, in the symmetry of the hedges, in the echoes of the gallery, in the still water beneath the arches. Chenonceau reminds
The
us that
interplay of
history is not
light and
only shaped
shadow
by
on the
war and
arches.
conquest. It is shaped by human emotion, by love, by jealousy, by grief, by the desire to create something beautiful that will outlast us. It is a monument not just to royalty, but to the power, resilience, and vision of women. Thank you for walking with me across this bridge of time. If the story of Chenonceau has brought you a moment of reflection or quiet inspiration, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. There are many more castles, many more lives,
The
and many
gardens
more
are
stories
flourishing
waiting to
under
be
this
uncovered.
light.
As is the court, madame.
Until we meet again in our next chapter of timeless beauty. Goodbye. Candle sparkles.